Well, hi there everyone and welcome back to Infinity. Where last episode we were not in here, we were down here. We were starting to sort out our automation system. We have a dump chest which is there, and if we come down here, you can see that I have been messing around an awful lot and I've changed everything, because that's more fun. So for a start, just here we have the metal former, which is just hooked onto the line, not connected to anything. But what I have done is I've changed how this works. This bit of item ducting on the top was going down the side. It's now going over the top. I have wrenched it so it doesn't connect to anything. So what we now have is items come down that pipe, go into the chest. You can see I have put a load of ores in there. They get sucked out automatically by the servo into here where they are getting crushed, and then they're going back out through that pipe and out. The benefit and the reason I've done that is because it lets me put things way closer together than I used to be able to. I can obviously put them right next to each other. That's also the reason I've put an iron chest on instead of a wooden chest. I haven't switched that one over yet. I'll probably move it because these won't connect if they're put next to each other. Obviously if I put two wooden chests next to each other, they will connect. It's all coming out. This one's still set up as it was. It's going into the stump chest where, as you can see, things like crushed tin are not being processed at all. I have copper on me. I've put some stone through by the looks of it. And I probably have to work pretty quickly actually to stop that getting overfilled. Yep, that's not working at all. Now I have also, last thing, as you can see I was having trouble actually getting around the back there. What I have done is I have dug this little passageway around the back, and underneath it just lets me come underneath and actually put things into my filters so I can sort them out. And it looks like I've even given myself a handy way out here. Right, EO then. What we are now going to do is build a whole new machine, because this is Industrial Craft and Industrial Craft has many machines. So I take my ores, I put them into here and they go into the macerator. The macerator macerates them and turns them into the crushed ores, which can then be baked off and you get a doubling. There is an extra machine we can put in. The extra machine, which I would like, is the ore washing plant. If I type in crushed ores, here are my crushed ores. You can see usage. You can just smelt them off to get the bars. You can put them into a thermal centrifuge. I cannot afford one of those just yet. Or you can put them into the ore washing plant. What you get is some purified crushed iron ore, a tiny pile of iron dust, and some stone dust. So what you get is you get a little bit of extra metal, which you can then use to make stuff with. You also get stone dust, which has its own unique uses. We'll get to that at some point. It does require water, so I'm going to require another aqueous accumulator. And I'm obviously going to put that on top of some wires because that is a safe thing to do. I have no idea where it's going to go yet, somewhere in there. Yeah, somewhere like that. Right, aqueous accumulator time. Do I have the bits prepared to make one of those? I have a machine frame, that is a good start. I could of course just nick the one. We have one sat underneath this canning machine, but I'm not going to because, well, they are useful. It is glass buckets, copper gears and the servo. What of those do we have pre-made up? Quick check in these. Absolutely nothing, of course. So iron, redstone, and a pane of glass in the middle? No, is it a block of glass? Is it time that I checked once again? I don't know why, I can never remember. I mean, how wrong is that? I have this complete and utter mental block on aqueous, on servos, and it's not this either, is it? It's proper glass. Proper glass is sat somewhere. Sat somewhere? I do hope it is. Well, fiddlesticks, how have I run out of glass? That's just silly. Well, we have sand, and where we have sand, we have glass. Pop that straight into there. The other things what we need are the copper gears and a bouquet. Those are fortunately very easy to make. I just need 2 copper gears and a bucket. So 1 bucket. I have 1 in my inventory, so I don't know why I didn't use that really. 2 copper gears. Grab your glassitude. I had an inventory full of glass. Okay, you were all screaming at me then, weren't you? My apologies. 2 pieces of glass. And we have a pneumatic servo. Pop that with 2 of those. 2 more pieces of glass. 1 of these machine frames. And my bucket, and I've got my aqueous accumulator. Add to that the fluid ducts. And we are sorted. Now the next thing we need is the ore washing plant itself. Now the ore washing plant requires a basic machine frame, lots of iron plates, 2 more buckets, an electronic circuit, and the electric motors. The electric motors are made from tin item casings with coils. Coils is copper wire. Right, we have tons of copper wire made up. I did make this stuff in advance. With some of that in the middle. Now, I believe we're going to need 2 for each one, so we're going to need 4, aren't we? That is a lot of wire, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4. Requires an awful lot of copper. We combine that with tin item casings and an iron ingot. I only have 1 tin item casings, but I do have some tin plates, and I should have a forge hammer. So, clicky clicky. Tin item casings with those and 2 irons is going to get me 2 electric motors. Combine my electric motors with electronic circuits, of course. So on electronic circuit, I don't have any made up, do I? No. Do I have any This is where I find out that I have run out of wire again, somehow. I also cannot see my rubber because I'm carrying it in my inventory. Why am I carrying everything in my inventory? Right, I'm carrying copper wire in my inventory. This is what's called being organised, then forgetting what you have done. Right, here we have an electronic circuit. An electronic circuit, 2 electric motors. Add 2 buckets and a basic machine casing. So we just need 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And we have my buckets. Now we need a few more iron plates, and that is why this thing is down here. It was rolling out iron plating. That gives me some machine casings. I'm going to make up extra because that means I can forget I have got any. Electronic circuits, 2 electric motors, 2 buckets, and whatever sat on the top. 3 more pieces of that, and we have ourselves an ore washing plant. Excellent. Now it is night time, or is it morning? The sun is going down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab another bucket, or quickly make another bucket. And before the world becomes creeper central, I'm going to dash up to my infinite water source and get some water. And then dash back in. There we go. So we just need to put in our infinite water source with our fluid ducts. Now I just have to decide where to put this, and I'm thinking down low is probably the best option. So I'm going to put it in way down here and block off my way to get out easily. So water buckets, water bucket, infinite water source. Guess what? I'm going to fill those buckets up from that because it is useful. Pop in my aqueous accumulator in the centre. That is filling up. Pop in my fluiducts on the top. Cut myself a new way out. Hang on, I did not go the wrong way. Right, now. Ooh, now. Okay, I'm going to need a moment to think about this because that really wants to go there. I'm intending putting these things in pretty close to each other. I could give them a gap. Will it look better with a gap? It will not really look better with a gap. This thing requires water. And I only have a bottom and a side to put things in. So you know what? This is going to have to look messy. There's no way around it. That can come up here. That can go in there exactly where it was, and the ore washing plant is going to sit on there. You can see how this is connected to this and not to this. That's because this can take water in, and what's more, it has done. It is also filling up quite slowly with electricity. I think these things are quite heavy on electricity, actually. Right, let us go and make the other bits which we need to get this thing working then, because all that we need is a chest or two. There is our chest. There is our iron. Insufficient iron supplies. Again, I'm going with the iron chests just to act as a better buffer and so as not to bump into each other. Item ducts, signalium filters, and servos. Yep, we have everything that we need to set this up. So all that we are going to have to do then is we are going to pop a chest on here and we are going to filter it. Pop and signalium filter it. Pop. We have a white list. The white list is going to say that the only things which I want to come through into here at the minute is crushed copper ore. And I have fallen down into the gap, that is fine. So only crushed copper ore will go this way. That does mean, of course, I do not want crushed copper ore to go that way. Now the great thing about these pipes, which I really love, is that they are bi-directional. So things can go that way and they will go that way as well. They'll just go to the shortest route basically, so I can send things this way, back that way. I don't have to have the machines in any sensible order if I don't want. So now what should happen is if I take my copper ores, pop them into here, they will get sucked out by the servo under there, and they should end up in this here chest pretty quickly. There we go, crushed copper ores. You have seen this bit, you know what happens next. One of these onto there, a servo on the front, which automatically works, and we will be dragging everything into here. Any second now, there we go, there are my crushed ores. You can see that's processing, and in a second what we are going to get is our purified ores. So now what I just have to do is I just have to get up on top of that block and run this bit of cabling along the top. Whack it with a crescent hammer to stop it connecting to bits that we don't want. Whack and whack. And there we go, we have got purified crushed copper ore, tiny pile of copper dust, and that one stone dust. What I'm just going to do is run up here, pop the copper up here. Superb. So all that we now have to do is pop in our servo, tell it to ignore, and it will suck out. Now what I just want to do is grab that purified crushed copper ore, because that should be coming this way into here. So purified crushed ores should now go into the electric furnace, where they are going to get cooked up. These tiny piles and the stone dust are going to go and end up in here for now. I'm going to want to sort those out better. But for now, crushed lead, crushed silver and crushed tin. I can't carry all of it. But all of these want to come this way. Onto that. So crushed lead, crushed silver and crushed tin, wherever that was. Those all go. I'm stuck, aren't I? No, I have escaped. I am Houdini. They'll go this way. So pop all those into there. Grab these as well. You can see that I'm getting these coming out. And these will also go into here. So now these things should all be going through fully automatically, and what we should see is that this is full of that copper that I put in. It is. This should be getting full up with things like crushed lead. It is. And this thing probably isn't yet, but should be handling all of my copper ingots and stuff. Okay, so far so good. Now what the next thing that I want to do... How long have we got? We've got a bit of time. I don't want all of my stuff coming out here is my next problem. I want much of it to come up here, particularly my ingots. I'd quite like them to come out to not that chest, sadly, but one that's going to sit there. Now this is, of course, doable. If it wasn't, I wouldn't exactly be talking about it now, would I? Right, let us cut through here, and under here, because I want to get to that line there. From that line I want to cut underneath and cut up here. This will be my ingots out chest, and for that I really want a new chest. And to be honest, I don't think there's any great harm in making a new gold chest just for now. I am feeling flush with ingots. A new gold chest. Okay, now this gold chest is only going to accept... Can I get onto that filter? I can. No, that won't give me enough, will it? I do need the Signalium filter on this. So, whitelist. The only things which I want to come this way are ingots. So let's grab some ingots. Copper, iron, lead and silver. So iron, copper, lead and silver. Okay, so all of these should go this way. Now the thing is they won't. What I'm going to do is pop them in here, and what you shall see is that as this gets sucked out of here, it's going to get sucked down and go straight into this chest, as has the crushed silver ore for some reason. Why have you gone that way? Whitelist, I assume that only went through before I put the servo on, so I'm just going to pop you back. You see all of these are coming through from here. I'm just going to put crushed silver up to make sure that is going the right way. But the problem is that the things that are going to come out of the oven down there won't. Yeah, that's not coming this way, is it? No, that's going the correct way. That should be coming down into here. I just have to check everything's going the right way. In fact, it should be going into there, shouldn't it? Are you coming in? Yes, you just went in there, didn't you? Crushed silver. Yep. Fine. Now the problem is when things come out of this oven, they're not going to go back up to the ingot box, and the reason for that is because that chest is closer than that chest. These things route to the closest chest. There's an easy fix to that. If I go... Okay, so of course, in this particular mod pack, thermal expansion has changed a bit, and so I'm just going to use a different way to get my dense item duct, because what I need is lead dust. Now this is a problem because lead dust is something produced by the pulverizer, which is a thermal expansion machine. I'm using the macerator, which is the industrial craft machine, and that don't make lead dust. So I'm going to use a little quick trick to convert between the two, and yes, none of these work. Pop you in there. What I need to make is something called a grindstone. It's going to be the easiest way for me to do it, better than using the... Oh, come along, don't I have any stone up here? Better than actually making a proper pulverizer, which I don't really want to do. This is just a little bit cheaper, a little bit easier. What I need is a wooden gear. I'm also going to need just a few more sticks. Just like that, just so that I can make one of these. This is a wooden crank. Pop my wooden crank up on the top with the stone in that pattern, and I just need some quartz. And now then, is this where I'm going to be told that I've got some nether quartz here. That will have to do. I'd rather not use it, but never mind. 3 pieces of quartz. And what have I done wrong? Okay, try that again. Just put some cobblestone in the bottom, and that might work better. There is my quartz grindstone. Take my quartz grindstone and put it in a corner somewhere because I don't exactly need this much. This is like your super low-tech ore doubler, basically. What we do is I am going to grab me some lead. I only really need a couple of pieces. Pop them in there. Now what I should do is just shift click that onto the top and turn it just by right clicking it. And what you'll see is that that has been sucked into there and is slowly going to turn into a lead dust. There we go, 1 lead dust. That is all that I need. Take your lead dust, combine it with your item duct, and what you're going to get is a dense item duct. Okay, it increases the path length dramatically. What this basically means is if I shift click this out of here and pop this in, you can see it is coloured red. Grab my other item duct back. This is now the longest path. When something comes out of here, it will think that this is a very long way away. So if it's an ingot, it will try to go to that chest rather than this chest because it will think that chest is closer. We can now quickly test this out just to finish because I can put my crushed lead ores in there and probably tell it that I want crushed lead ores to go this way generally. There we go. So what we should now not see is any lead ores arriving in here. It would be really useful, by the way, if my... you know how the copper produces tiny piles of copper dust? Well, the lead produces tiny piles of sulfur dust. Wouldn't you know it? So there goes my leads. I'm not entirely sure why I got a purified crushed lead ore come through then. Perhaps it was already in the pipe going somewhere. Because it should have gone that way. Now what we should instead see is that my ores are coming this way, as you can see. So all my ingots will now come up and out up to here. And anything which isn't an ingot is going to still go down into that chest, and I can further sort it down there next time. Because, guess what? That is the end of this episode, guys. We now have an in chest, an out chest, and we are producing a tiny little bit of extra stuff en route. And we've got a great big hole in the wall. What more could we want? Thank you very much for watching, and I do hope to see you next time. Thank you, and goodbye.